Hey guys, so today I have my first ever tutorial which will be about how to create your own Gemsona. So this is my first tutorial ever. I don't have any experience, so excuse me if I make any mistakes. Well, not like that, but I do some weird things or things like that. I'm not really sure about how to film this video. I don't know how to edit. I don't know in which order to do things, and tutorials overall are just really new to me. So bear in mind that I don't have a lot of experience. So I apologize if there are any problems. Which I hope there aren't. So now that we've covered that, let's get into the tutorial. So first of all, there are 7 steps, and here we have an example on how to turn this into this. So first of all is choose a gemstone. So for this, you first want to choose the gemstone that you will be using. For example, in this little example, which I did very quickly, it is not meant to be done like great. I just made it really quick, so it is very bad. But in this example, I used the gemstone juicy quartz, and I chose the hexagonal shape, which is basically amethyst shape, but with a little alteration that I kinda twisted it, so instead of having this horizontal line on top, it would have the 2 split lines like this. Instead of being like this, it is like this. Basically. So instead of this pointing up, it is pointing to the side. Well, more or less. So basically that, I changed a little bit the direction that the gemstone is facing, and nothing more to it. It's just choose the shape you want. Like, you can choose round, oval, teardrop, triangle, kinda elongated diamond and diamond. Then you have, this is an example of how this would be, but with a cut. So basically this one's the exact same ones but with a cut, and then 7 different cuts from frontal view and side view. So we have triangular, square, pentagonal, I think it is, yeah, hexagonal, like cross, maybe diamond, and teardrop. So I recommend choosing from these ones. Anything that goes beyond 6 points, I think it's way too much complicated. It's way too complicated. I can't speak today. It's way too complicated. It will just look bad, because the thing about gems is that they are simple, and if you want to add more than 7 lines, well, 6 in this case, but if you are making 7 or more lines, it will just become like, I don't know, a pool of lines. I'm not sure. Well, you get me, okay? Just don't add too many lines, make it simple. For example, diamond, teardrop, square, triangle, like simple shapes. So now that we've got this covered, body type and face details. So here we have. So for this step, you basically want to choose which body type you will want. Here I've got 3 different very basic ones, which are taken from the actual show. Skinny, which I got from Pearl, although it is almost the same as lapis lazuli. And the characteristics: it is tall, very thin, and overall slender-like. Medium: this one is from Garnet, and it is tall, taller than the skinny one, curvy, and has the kind of hourglass shape. And next, curvy. This one is taken from Sugalai, and it is even taller than the medium one. It is very curvy and has an hourglass shape, but it is really extreme. You can see, like, boom, boom. you get it, okay? It's the hourglass shape, and yeah, that's it. 3 different body types: skinny, medium, curvy. So now, face details. So we're back to we're back to the second step, face details. So eyes, here we have 6 eyes, round with no pupil, I think, pupil or iris. I'm not sure, okay, something like that. Iris or pupil, I'll say pupil. So without pupil, or I really wanted to look it up, but I don't want this video to get so long, so I'll say iris. My last decision. So round with no iris, round with iris, oval shaped with no iris, oval shaped with iris, more, well, I don't know how to describe it, like, this is more looking too realistic, but because you don't see anyone with totally round eyes. This is more like the realistic one, with pupil is the only one that we've seen in the show. And lastly, this one which has the like cat eye and diamond shaped iris. So this one's from Steven, this one's from Sugalai, Pearl, Opal, Jasper, and Blue Diamond, Yellow Diamond. So now, noses. I'm not gonna describe it, we're just gonna say Steven, Garnet and Amethyst, Pearl, Lapis Lazuli, Peridot, that's it. And this one's from, what was it? I'm not sure. I can't remember, sorry. I think maybe it was from Stefani. I'm not sure, excuse me. I can't remember. So next, mouths. Same thing, I'm just gonna say who it is from. Amethyst, Garnet, Pearl, Lapis, whatever you want. Malachite, Yellow Diamond, Sugalite, Sardonyx, and this one is made up by me, which is more of a realistic one. And lastly, head shapes. The round one, which is taken from Amethyst, squared one from Garnet, oval shaped one from Pearl/Opal, the Steven shaped one, which is from Steven, and rose quartz, this weird one, which is from Sugalite, this triangular one, which is from Sardonyx, this one is from Lapis, and I don't know how to describe it. Again, I don't know how to describe it, Peridot. And again, this is from Malachite. So that's it for face details. Now we're getting into hairstyle. So there are 2 main types of hairstyles for gems in Steven Universe. The Afro-ish ones, this one's taken from Garnet, squared shape. Also Afro-ish from Sardonyx, triangular shaped one. And this one, which is from Peridot, which has a diamond shape. But a lot of people say it's an afro, a lot of people say it's like straight hair but put in a weird position. I like to imagine it as an afro, and that's what I said, afro-ish. This is from Peridot, so I'm not sure. Next, wavy. amethyst, rainbow quartz, and lapis. That's it. Because what I've done here is basically crystal gem fusion, although garnet, spoilers, and homeworld gem. So that's why I added like lapises, but I thought about adding jasper, but she basically has the exact same thing as amethyst, so we'll leave it as wavy but short for lapis. And third step, which is let's fuse them, which is if you don't want an Afroish style or the basic wavy ones are not for your liking, then you can always fuse them. So for example, this is a fusion that has already happened, pearl and amethyst, which create opal, but although this is from the show and you can see like we have this thing from pearl, and then there's a ponytail that comes from amethyst. So you can do that if you want. You can fuse hairstyles and add things like ponytails, pigtails, anything you want. So next step is choose a gem placement. So for this step you basically want to choose where you want to place your gem. So for example in here she has it on her chest, just like amethyst, and it is the simplest step, I think. You just gotta choose where you want to put it. And I think the best places to put it are the ones from the actual show, because some friends are coming up with so many different places which are very weird, and I'm not really into them. For example, like the shoulders or elbows or knees, anything like that is kind of weird and just not really, I want to say realistic, but if you have a gem on your chest, it isn't realistic. So basically, I do not recommend putting them in the places I've said. So the ones that I do recommend are like forehead, chest, palms, maybe on this part of your feet. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today. On your feet, maybe palms, or in the part of the hand. This part I'm not sure how it's called, but things like that. Okay, like chest, palms, maybe like forehead, belly, and like like lapis the back, which is a great place because you don't have anything there and it's kind of empty. So depending on the clothing that you give your gemsona, it can be a great place to put your gem in. So next, clothing. This is mainly, you just have to make it up. There are two main things though that you have to keep in mind, and I'm gonna use a pencil. So first of all, if you're gonna make a whole world gem, you have to choose which diamond it corresponds to. So for example, if it is from yellow diamond, I recommend trying making this arch thing. They all have like this. They all have this. So you usually have to do that. You can maybe tweak it a little bit or change it so it's more like yours and it's not like a straight copy. And blue diamond ones are we've only seen one gem from blue diamond, or I'm not sure, but from what we've seen, they have this that I gave her. The weird thing where there's this, then she has the waist, and then the diamond is closed, giving it this weird diamond shape. Although you don't see this, okay? You just see this. There it is. So this is for blue diamond, and Then, since we've never seen a gem from white diamond or pink diamond, we don't know how to do that, and that's it for the diamond gems. And after, if you want to make a imaginary crystal gem, then the rule number 1 is you always have to add a star somewhere, unless you're ruby and sapphire and you don't care. So basically that's it for clothing. And now choose a gem weapon. So most of the great and original weapons are taken already from the show, like a bow, spear, whip, gauntlet, and we have nothing. So basically just try to, well, you could fuse them. You could fuse different weapons like they do in the show, like for example a spear and a gauntlet mix up a hammer. You could make things up, but if you want to have a good looking weapon, either you come up with a great design that you really like and you are sure that it is 100% original and it looks super cool, or you have to copy one from the show. So basically here it's copied from the show, because in this example I made really quick, I didn't have a lot of time, so I just got the first thing that I thought about and made it. So next, finally, color palette. So here, spoilers. So for this part, color palettes. There are 3 main color palettes that you can encounter in the show in gems. The 1 main color palette, in this example it's blue and it is taken from lapis lazuli. The 2 main color palette, which is in this case purple and green, and taken from amethyst. And the 3 main color palette, in this case pink, yellow and blue, and taken from pearl. So I really like the 2 main color palette, or maybe a point in between these 2, but just 1 main color doesn't seem really attracting, you know, it's very simple and kind of boring. So that's why I try to stay off this one. Then there's a 2 main color palette, which sometimes is good and sometimes it is not, because sometimes 2 main colors just isn't enough, or maybe it is just perfect. So then the 3 main color palette, which we can see here, well, this maybe could be 4 color palette, because you could argue it's blue, a dark blue and then a light blue, but it doesn't really matter. But for 3 main color palettes, I usually go to similar colors, unlike this, because for Pearl I really like her design, and I don't know how the designers of the show have gone to a point where it looks great on a gem to have more than 3 main colors, because she also has like white skin, and she has very different colors, because this is like almost primary colors besides the pink, and they use to make it so it has a nice transition. You usually have to put like between yellow and blue green, or yellow and, imagine this was red, orange. And although these are different, it looks great on her design. So it's mostly about trying and trying until you get a color palette that you like. But here, for example, I chose 3 main colors, purple, blue and pink, which are similar between them, purple and blue, not purple and blue. Purple and blue are similar between them, and then there's purple and pink. And because pink is different from blue, it's also good because you have a little bit of contrast and it gives more personality to the Gemsona. So it is also great to get 3 different colors between, so what am I saying? No, 3 main colors, like for example red, orange and yellow, because then the red and yellow will have contrast. Meanwhile, the yellow and orange, or red and orange, will blend in nicely together, so it will give your Gemsona a lot of character to her, and it will be a really good option for color palettes in my opinion. So now we've covered all these steps and we are gonna get into the example, which I have worked on a lot of more time than this one and tried a lot harder to make it look great. So here it is. Boom! Fire Opal. So this Gemsona is, well, we're gonna go over all these steps. So first, let me get this. Okay. Probably should have thought about what I was going to do now before, but okay. So first of all, this one is way more worked on than this one. It took a lot of time to make this one. I think I spent like an hour or an hour and a half to make this one, but I really wanted to make a great example for the tutorial. So first of all, we're gonna go over the 7 steps so you can see what I've done to come up with this. So first of all, choose a gemstone. I have chosen Fire Opal, and for the gemstone itself, it is smooth with an oval shape, not shaped. I really can't talk today. I know what's happening to me, but okay. So now that we have that, we go over to body type and face details. So body type, since this is Fire Opal, I wanted it to be similar to Opal from the actual show. So I chose the medium body shape, but instead of using Garnet's one, I used Opal's one, and because they're the same kind of gem, Opal. Oh, wait, I forgot to erase the pencil. Because they are the same gem, Opal and Fire Opal, I wanted them to be kind of similar. Although this is a single gem, not a fusion of any kind. So yeah, very tall, kind of curvy, and has the hourglass shape too, basically. So next, face details. So we have eyes. I got the oval shaped ones with no iris. Then I initially wanted to take Lapis's nose, but I ended up adding nostrils and making it a little bit more realistic than this one and less cartoony, so it's kind of made up. Then I used the made up mouth that I made before, and basically I also wanted it to be a little more realistic, and I also wanted it to have like that shape from Amethyst with the thick lips, although I added the Cupid's bow on top, so it would be a little bit more realistic and not just red opal, you know. I wanted it to have a different nose maybe, or a different mouth, so it wouldn't be just the same gem with different clothing. So next, head shape. I chose the oval shaped head because I wanted to be similar to opal. And that's it for this. So now we are gonna get into hairstyle. So the hairstyle is inspired by where did that came from? By fan fusion made by, I don't know the artist name, but it was a fusion between opal and lapis, and she basically had this hair, like long straight hair with the 2 pigtails from opal and a headband. So I basically made that so it would still look kind of like opal. You can see the resemblance, like the long hair, and it still have the pigtails. And I wanted it to be similar to opal because again it's almost the same gem. My gosh. So basically that is for hair. And now clothing. I don't know. Choose a gem placement. Chest. That's it. Now clothing. So I wanted to be a gem warrior from Yellow Diamond, so I added a weird arch on top of her chest with a yellow diamond. I also added some yellow diamonds on her boots and on her gem weapon, which we'll talk about later. And basically that's it. The rest is kind of made up, although kind of inspired by Opal, like this. Well, it's kind of a tank top, but not. Like from Opal's second regeneration. Well, version would be more accurate, but basically like the tank top. And I made it so it was split down the middle, so it will connect the seam where the skirt starts and the yellow diamond. And basically that's it. I wanted it also to make this part overall a little bit more simplistic because compared to the rest of the parts, because you can see here on her bracelets and boots and headband I made some patterns, and I didn't want it to be all a pattern because then it would take the simplicity factor away from the gem. Although now I'm kind of disappointed on how it looks, because I don't like how it looks that on limbs and head there's always a pattern, but instead in the center there's nothing, just plain color. So next time I make a Gemsona, I'll make sure if I want to make patterns, I will make it so it has a lot of variety. So some patterns are on the limbs, some others are, for example, in the pants or skirt, and then their boots don't have anything, so there's a little bit more variety, and it isn't all just like the same limbs pattern, and like in the middle there's plain color. So besides that, I don't have anything to mention, just made up boots with the diamond. I wanted to incorporate the diamonds all over the clothing, and that's it. So next, choose a gem weapon. So I made up this double-ended spear, more or less spear or giant knife, because a spear is nothing like this usually, but I wanted to make a new weapon. I didn't want to copy one that was already made like I did here. So I tweaked a little bit the original spear by Pearl and make it so it was double-ended and a little bit more simplistic. So basically that chose the same diamond that there were here, and that's it. And next, color palette. So I went for the option of 3 main colors, although because they are relative between them, it isn't so weird looking. And basically it's like orange, more or less, red and light yellow. So we can see that there's a nice transition between red and orange, and a nice transition between orange and yellow. But then there's this contrast between red and yellow, which is great. So more contrast all over the piece means more personality, which I feel I've said too many times today, but it looks more original, looks better overall. If you add contrast to your pieces, it will look better. So that's why I like adding some like, so they have relativeness, if that's a word, between them, but also there's contrast, so it gives more character to the Gemsona. And basically that's it for this video. We have started from this to this. This is a very quick example, although this body type shouldn't be this because I've already chosen a body type, but it was so you could get an idea. So basically it would be from blank / nothing to this, or from nothing to this. So that is it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. I hope this has been useful and have a nice day. And bye!